So if you're the Raiders, you got the coach, you got the GM, you have the minority owner who's also kind of moonlighting as the main owner, being Tom Brady. So here are the top 5 moves the Raiders should absolutely make to nail the 2025 offseason, with the last move being the most important. So let's move to the first one. So the first round of free agency is always a huge spot. The Raiders are already set up for success as they have the second highest cap space in the NFL with just over $99.5 million to spend. So with that, if you watched any of the Raiders games this year, it would be obvious to the naked eye that their rushing attack was absolutely abysmal, virtually absent. So they averaged about 78.3 yards per game. They ended the 2024 season being dead last in rushing and managed just 19 rushing yards on the season. So for that reason, the Raiders should absolutely be looking to bring in running back Najee Harris to fill that role. He was drafted to the Steelers back in 2021, and as of right now, being February 25th, he's slated to become a free agent. Now, Najee Harris is still young. He's only 26 years old. He'll be 27 in March. In 2024, he averaged 263 carries, 36 catches for a total of 1,043 yards. He has met over 1,000 yards every season since being drafted in 2021. He would easily become their lead back and would give the Raiders a reliable workhorse that they so desperately need. So when we look at Spot Trap right now, his market value right now is ranging at 3 years at 27. We'll round it up and say 27.5 mil. Average salary is about 9.1 million a year, which is honestly, it's feasible for his type of, for him being that type of running back. Personally, if I'm the Raiders, I would shoot for a deal similar to like a Tony Pollard. So you're looking at about 3 years, 21.7 mil, about 7.2 per year, and maybe offering more upfront. But that's just me. Either way, bringing in a sure thing at the running back position would be a huge move for the Raiders and their offense, who desperately need a running back to help them in that rushing attack. As I said, they were ranked 32, so bottom of the league in rushing, and they definitely don't want to have a repeat that in 2025. Going into the second big move that they should be looking to make. So going to the other side of the ball, the Raiders defense was also in the bottom 10. More importantly, they were 20th in rushing yards per game. They were 22nd in sacks, and they were 22nd in defensive interceptions. So one way to provide an immediate upgrade to their defensive line is to bring in defensive tackle Joey Bosa. He is currently with the LA Chargers. Rumors have it that he is likely to be cut. My guess is it's safe to say cap space, and thus he will be made available as a free agent, barring any last-minute trades, which I don't really foresee happening. Joey Bosa may not be like the heavy hitter that he was a couple years ago, but he is still a really solid, legit blitzer, can still get after the quarterback. Pairing him with an all-time great and head coach Pete Carroll, you would almost expect that he's going to get the best out of Bosa easily. It would be an easy layup, as his technique already is in. He's technically already in the area, being that he is right now with the Chargers. So he's been in LA. He would have an immediate opportunity to replay his old team twice a year, and he gives the Raiders a D-line, an immediate upgrade to that front line. His current contract right now, according to Spot Track, is he's at a cap hit of about 36.4. We'll say 36.5 million just to make it an even number. I could see the Raiders offering him a 3-year, maybe like a 32 million with a base of about 60 million per year, with so much guaranteed, and then signing bonus, etc. However, you have to finesse it. It doesn't really matter. In 2 moves, you've already solidified and upgraded your running back room and added some much needed help on the defensive front line for less than 25 mil per year virtually. And it's really going to set you up to be able to do some really big things when it comes to the draft. So your number 3 spot, which you should be looking at, is bringing in any type of veteran quarterback. That's really where you should be looking, and we'll come up that'll come up in the next spot. I'm not going to spend too much time on discussing it. I think it's kind of obvious. You have a Russell Wilson, you have Daniel Jones, you have Jacoby Brissett. You could go really with any of them, although you do want a veteran guy that is a good teammate, is willing to be a part of the team, no matter what's being asked of him. So maybe Daniel Jones isn't the guy, but nonetheless, get a vet, because that's definitely going to help you going into this next, what I feel is the second to last big move, but it's a huge one. Still, nonetheless, it's not the most important, but it's close to it. The Raiders would trade superstar and unhappy Max Crosby to the defensive end needy Vikings for the 24th overall pick, a second overall pick in 2026 with the ability to be a first based on his production, and a third in 2027 using the 24th overall pick. The Raiders should trade back into the first round to take QB Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. I think that would be a huge win for them. I know there's a lot. It's not a big quarterback friendly draft, as it's been said. The biggest ones are probably going to be off the board before they even get to the Raiders. You're looking at Cam Ward. Obviously, you're looking at Shedeur Sanders, but I personally feel that he could be a sneaky pick in Jackson Dart, and he might be, in my opinion, 3 or 4 years down the line, he might be a stud. Jackson Dart right now is 21, so he's super young. He's 6'2", 225 pounds. He's a 4-year starter. In 2024, he had 276 completions, 4,279 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions, and a 69.3 completion percentage. So he may not be like the fastest guy, but he does have some mobility to get out of the pocket and run for yards when it's needed. So you're looking at almost, not saying he's anything like a Josh Allen, but he has that similarity where you don't necessarily have to have him run, but he has the ability to do so if he needs to. He's decisive. He's intelligent. He has good awareness of how to put touch on the ball, especially in intermediate routes. While he may not have the more accurate deep ball, but he does show the ability to make big time throws that with the right coaching staff could develop and be extremely productive. So the Raiders should take a swing, in my opinion, trade back into the first round and go get their guy of the future in Jackson Dart. The most important move, one I feel like is going to set them up for full success. You either love it or you hate it. I've heard both sides. You stay and you use the 6th overall pick and wide receiver Tetairoa McMillan out of Arizona. The future of their wide receiver 1X. He's 6'5", 225 pounds. He is, in my opinion, is arguably the best wide receiver option in this year's draft by far, including a better wide receiver than Travis Hunter, in my opinion. He had 84 receptions, 1,319 yards, 8 touchdowns. He averaged about 15.7 yards per catch. And keeping in mind, it's already come out that he got hurt in the spring. So could have very well had a much bigger stat line if he was 100% healthy. So the Raiders desperately need a big-bodied X-receiver, and I think McMillan fits that mold to a T. He has natural hands, expansive catch radius, bona fide X. It's been said that the QB's rating when working with him and targeting him is 110.7, and a lot of comps that I've been seeing lately has him comped to a Drake London. So this automatically turns, if you take all of these, if you use all of these spots, if they take all of these options that have been put out, this automatically turns the Raiders offense into a potential top 10 offense going into the 2025 season with T-Mac, Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers, backfield of Najee Harris, and then you're partnering with new OC Chip Kelly. There will be no doubt in my mind they would be coming into the 2025 regular season firing on all cylinders.
This has been Between the Uprights. Football is life. The rest is just details.